How's it going, everyone? Today it is Tuesday. I'm really bad with these dates. Tuesday, March 12th, 2024, and this is the video for today. So let's get over first just our longer term market bias, orient ourselves, and then our shorter term market bias, which is a little bit more changing, a little more fluid. What happened today, and what can we expect to trade? We'll go over the picture in the last video, and I'll go over the positions that I'm in right now. So on a longer term basis, we are still very bullish. This trend channel here helps us outline some of the major levels and just gauge the trend here. Helps us see if we're going to see a bullish climax or if we are seeing something more significant on the bearish side. But we are all systems go, and we have been pretty much for the last couple of months. On a shorter term basis, after this nice move up higher, the price actions got a little bit looser, a little bit wider in the channel, and there has been some more volatility. I would say kind of actually starting from January. So this January to February move has been up, but it's been a little bit more wide. You can see there's big moves. Here's a reaction to CPI, digesting that, and then reaction to NVIDIA, moving to the upside, test over here, big move up again, big test down, and we have a lot of volatility today. So that seems to be the theme that we are seeing. If we look into the price action on the last couple of days, here's the example of the volatility we talked about yesterday. Nice move up, and then we had a lot of heavy selling to the downside. Yesterday, we had a small gap and go, and the market was able to grind up higher, never quite able to retest that level, confirming some support on that area. Today, we had the CPI release, and we had a small gap up, but I don't believe that was from the CPI. If you look at what was happening yesterday, the market was climbing up higher and was pretty much around this 512 level, 512.50 level to begin with. CPI came out here on 8:30, so we opened at 512.27. Positive reaction, negative reaction, and by the time the market opened on the first candle, we were maybe up $1, but we weren't up a huge amount. So some of it's from the CPI, but a lot of it was just grinding up from yesterday with some of the overnight strength that we were seeing in the market. So we'd gap up, immediately tested the downside, filled in the gap quickly, which held, and then we soared back up higher. So when it came to the market in the first 30, 45 minutes of the day, I was seeing, hey, this is a pretty bullish move because we've had some long green candles, heavy volume, broke through this high of the day with some relative ease. But there were sellers present earlier in the day. We also made a very fast move up to begin with, and we covered a lot of ground very quickly from this low of about 511 to this high of about 516. So that's $5 in a matter of minutes. So what that signals to me is that we'll have a pause, the bear cycle coming in. Let's not get super ahead of ourselves, and let's just see how this plays out. If we can hold a high of the day for most of the bear cycle, then we know that we are in good shape and we can stick to our longs and add to them as they break to the high of the day. Now, the market pulled back a little bit. We formed a bit of a double top, and we're compressing here for a while. And then when we finally broke through this level here, we had a bit of a, not going to say a selling climax, but we had a bit of a sell-off over here. Broke through the VWAP, so we're a little bit more on the cautious side. And now we started forming some tails under body. We're forming a double bottom over here. LRSI is crossing up. 1OP is pretty late in the bearish cycle, and I do expect to see a 1OP bullish cross pretty soon. Also, this downward sloping trend line that we saw being breached. So we can expect to get in some trades over here. So this is actually, I think, setting up a nice volatile chop day where both buyers and sellers are active, but I believe buyers have the upper hand for two reasons. First, this move was much stronger to the move on the downside. Second, you can see that this selling over here did not have as much relative volume, right? Let's look at the line, not look at the candles, but the 1-0 volume. Not as high relative to what was coming up here. The price action was also not as strong. We had buyers here, pause, move down, buyers here, and now we're getting a nice green candle. I think this actually sets up really well for a little SPY lotto. So we'll see how this plays out. But with this volatile shop sort of day, we can probably get a pretty nice move over here. And I'm going to just put in an order for, I like to go for 50% of these. So that would be 42 cents on a trade like that. So we have some support, one apiece crossing up, LRSI is crossing up. So I believe that we will start to do pretty well. Now, the day trade pick I'm in is LI. So we broke through all these areas here. LI is pretty strong. And I'm actually going to add to the trade because it has been a very steady grinder. So why did I like LI so much? Well, you can see here that, and let's go to the D1. The D1 is not great. It's not horrible, but it's not great. So, but the reason I liked LI so much as a day trade only is because we started to move up higher. We didn't bend down initially with the market. Steady buying, heavy volume, relative strength. Compressed here for a little bit, right? There's little compressions pop, and then we had super steady buying while the market was going all the way down over here. This tells me that there is nice steady buying. So I took a starter long here at 1 o'clock. After I got this little bit of a candle, I knew the cycle was overextended, but we're below VWAP, so I didn't want to push my luck. I wanted to see a strong reaction for the market first. So my criteria was I'm going to take a starter position here at 1 o'clock at 39.78. Then when I get that starter position, I want to see SPY do a couple things. First, we have to have an LRSI bullish cross, and I ideally would like a 1OP cross. SPY also has to get above VWAP and through this downward sloping trend line that I would draw somewhere here. So it has to get through this line. You can see this wedge pattern form up. If it breaks through all of these, then I believe we are ready to get in the trade for the upside. As the move continues, I will slowly be adding to the position, and I plan to take profits close to 40, 50. That's not good for MSCR. Because we have some gap resistance over here, but we have plenty of room to that point. LI is a nice steady move, and because the stock has been so strong, even if it doesn't pan out on this ad, I know it can pull back and I can take profits on this next retest higher. So I like this move. It's very, very steady. The worst case scenario is that it compresses and I take a small win or a scratch for the rest of the day. So that is a nice day trade setup that I saw. Let's look at the pick from the last video, which was Garmin. Now, unfortunately, we weren't able to get into Garmin because it never quite pulled back how we wanted it to pull back. So if we look at Garmin here, the video we called out was around over here. That's when I got, actually, I had a really nice entry on the pick, but I wanted to get a nice price and I didn't quite get it. Garmin took off like a rocket, moved up a lot. Still pretty strong today, but has made a pretty nice move. So I think there was some ex-dividend something going on here. So if you don't know what this ex-dividend stuff is, some people like to, when a company announces dividends, some people like to buy the stock so they get the dividends. So that money goes into the stock. After the dividends are posted, the stock will drop because people only bought the stock in order to receive the dividends. So that date means that you have to be an owner of the stock before that date in order to receive the dividends. So happens sometimes, but just something to pay attention to in terms of catalyst. But even if that wasn't true of the catalyst, and regardless of the reason, this is a pretty strong stock. It had a nice breakout, and we are holding the gains. So I think you could definitely justify taking a starter position in Garmin. So I'm not going to count that as a pick because we didn't get quite into it, but I did set an LRSI M15 alert. So if we look at our alerts here, so that's triggered and that's triggered. So when it crosses back above 2, we could get a nice entry point on this swing. Now, let's look at some trades that we can take, and let's go to our quick look at our positions before we do that. So we had IBM. IBM, excellent recovery today. Tested this level here. And I had this high plus trend line coming into play from Jan 25th. So I believe that is going to be a factor at this level, or seems to be hitting at that level. And we are rejecting off it strongly. So if you aren't as comfortable taking a longer swing in IBM, you could have taken profits as we approach this trend line. I think I mentioned that in the last video because we weren't as bullish. But given this price action here, I think what I would do is take the small win in Garmin, or sorry, not Garmin, in IBM. So we entered here at the high of 198.13. And then for me, I would have taken profits on this break here. So let's call it a scratch at that level. And we want it to really break out of this compression. So far, it's not really doing so. And we aren't able to really get through this level. So when we have a clean break through this level, that's when I'd want to get in on the stock. So IBM, I'm going to count as a scratch for right now. ASML has a bit of selling here. We said we're holding a half position. Has a decent day of recovery over here. Chips are going to be gaining some strength. Retested this breakout. I do believe that it is going to go higher. Netflix also holding its own, still in a compression after this level over here. So we do need to see a compression break in through this gap before we get anything going over here. Garmin, I said that we didn't quite get in yet, so I'm going to remove that right now. MS has fallen back into the range. The nice thing is that the 50 SMA is sloping lower. So, gives us a little bit more breathing room with our 88 spread. We just have to get above 88 before the expiration. And ideally, we have about another week before we have to worry about assignment risk. Right now, it is kind of in the middle between the short strike and the long strike, which is not the most ideal scenario because if you do get assigned on the short strike, which is in the money, then you are basically short 100 shares of MS, which we don't really want. So that's something that we have to factor in. But again, I'm not crazy about the stock right now because it fell back in the range. My suspicion is that it's going to be a dud, but we are willing to give it some time. T-Mobile has also fallen back in the range, but our short strike is here at 62.50, well above plenty of support. And we only have 3 more days for this put credit spread to expire worthless. So let's go into my pick of the video, which is Wells Fargo. So Wells Fargo is excellent. You can see nice steady price action. We're going to start, I think the story to me starts in October, November, where we have nice steady action. Then we go parabolic on the FOMC statement, and it takes some time to digest all of these gains. It takes about 1 or 2 months. Breaks this compression, retests, breaks higher. This is the ideal entry point, in my opinion, as it holds that break, and then you ride it higher. Couple of places to add. I think this little pullback, we surge higher. You can add here on March 5th on this compression break, and it closes over here. I would add again. So that is looking very, very nice. And I would take and this is the trade I took. I took the April 12th calls, the $55 calls, deep in the money, expiring at the 12th, which is the earnings date. So as long as Wells Fargo moves higher, and I think I have about 80, maybe 95 cents a premium. So as long as the Wells Fargo moves $1, that will offset my premium. It's nice steady action. And this is something, because the options are pretty cheap, I'm looking to slowly add to this position over time. So this is a longer term in the money swing. As I mentioned in the last video, I want to practice riding out these moves and going a little bit longer because those are the holes in my trading game, and I want to become better at doing that. So Wells Fargo is our pick, and I'm going to add it to our YouTube picks. The other one that I thought was really nice was Walmart. Walmart has excellent steady price action since December. Earnings volatility held the gap, and now it is inching higher. So Walmart is another one that I'm in, but I'm only going to recommend Wells Fargo right now. We don't have to get overboard with the picks, but I think Walmart is another nice longer term swing setup. You can go farther out. So I took personally the May 17th calls deep in the money. I think 58, 33. Walmart also had a stock split. I think it was like a 3-to-1 stock split. So that's why it's cheaper. I think it used to be like 160 or something. So I don't know why they did a stock split, but whatever. Um, Holding the gains pretty well and just a very nice steady climb higher. So those are the picks for the day. Let's take a look at LI. So bit of a bearish engulf right here over 40. So we're going to wait. If it even pulls back a little bit, we're going to wait till see if it tests this level again. We expect this pullback to be a few bars, maybe 8 to 10 bars, pretty brief, and make a new high after that. So the market does that, and Wells Fargo, and sorry, LI does that, then I will continue to scale into the position. I have a half a position right now, and then scale into a max position. So that is the video for today. Pretty short, but I wanted to point out one nice day trading pick. So if you took LI, that would be a nice pick, and also Wells Fargo on a short-term swing. Let's pull up that chart one more time. Taking a second here to load. Oh, well, we got a freeze. Well, anyways, you know the Wells Fargo chart. Take a look at it. That is our swing pick, and I'll toss an LI in there as well as a day trade pick since we weren't able to get in on Garmin quite yet. So those are our two picks. Hope you guys found this helpful, and we will catch everyone at the next video.